And we're back with another episode of Franchise My Business, the podcast for franchisors, hosted by franchisors. I'm your host, Kevin Oldham, and we're going to talk about another book that has been super impactful for me this year. This has been a year where there's been two books that I've been recommending to basically every entrepreneur that I meet. And that's a rare thing because I take book recommendations pretty seriously. Like if I'm going to recommend a book to somebody, it's going to be impactful for that individual. And so the book that I want to go over today is 10X is Easier Than 2X by Dan Sullivan, and Darren Hardy, I believe, is his co-author's name. So Dan Sullivan is the founder of Strategic Coach. If you're not familiar with his stuff, check him out. He is a very well-respected business coach, somebody who I've followed their teachings for many years, and just a really phenomenal author. So another impactful book by Dan Sullivan is Who Not How. Another one that really hit me is The Gap and the Gain. And this one, 10X is easier than 2X. And so I'm going to give you a quick synopsis of it. And then furthermore, I'm going to challenge you to not only take my synopsis seriously, but maybe look at the book. And moreover, not only look at the book, but try to implement some of these things if growing is super important to you. And I'm going to walk you through why I feel like this is a really serious concept, because we've experienced it ourselves. So the synopsis of 10X is easier than 2X. Let's use my digital marketing company, DeFactory, as an example. Last year, 2022, we put together a pretty aggressive growth plan. It wasn't to double the business, but it was pretty close, right? And we came pretty close to doubling the business. But what did that look like? It was painful because we did a lot of the same activities that we did the previous year and the year before that. We just did more of them. And when we did more of them, it created a different set of problems for us that we got to go and solve, okay? And I got done at the end of that year. I still remember telling one of my colleagues, I'm like, man, I don't know that I want to try to double this again, because it was brutal in terms of what it did to me, what it did to the team, etc. And it's because we were trying to basically just double. We were basically trying to do twice as much of what we used to do before. Now, could we do 10 times as much? No. Like, we'd have to have 10 times as many resources and things like that. So the synopsis of 10X is easier than 2X is that in order to go 10X, you basically got to play a different game. You may need different players on the team. You maybe need a different playbook. Like, you probably have to throw out everything that got you to where you are today in terms of thinking and get rid of that thinking, put it off on the shelf, and look at the problem differently. Because if we wanted to take our digital marketing company 10X it, instead of just double the size of it, we wanted to 10X the size of it, sheer grit and the things that we did last year are not going to get us there. We're going to be looking at things like M&A. We're going to be looking at things like creating new service lines. There's going to be new team members. It's going to be a completely different organization. You know, we could probably 2X the company and have it be the same type of company, but to 10X it, it's probably going to look dramatically different. Now, the cool thing about 10Xing is that, you know, there's just a lot of buzz around it and things like that, right? But it's just a way of saying dramatically different results in terms of exponential growth. Okay, you may 20X your company, you may 30X your company, you may 7X it or whatever, but it's like that paradigm shift, the mental model shift, realizing that, you know, you may be able to double the size of your company through sheer grit and all those things, but you're not going to be able to 10X it that same way. You're going to have to solve the problem differently. You're going to require a different set of tools. Heck, it may require that you as the owner of the company aren't in the same seat on the bus, and you have to be totally cool with that. So it could be like a completely uncomfortable exercise, but I think it's probably one of the most dramatically important books that I've absorbed over the past couple of years. And so therefore I wanted to hop on today and recommend that you check out the book 10X is Easier Than 2X, or you check out the Blinkist notes, or whatever way that you need to, or maybe this book was, or maybe this podcast episode was sufficient for you. But the grasping the concept that it is dramatically easier. You just got to play a different game to get there. And that's like the paradigm shift for me that just blew my mind, and I hope that it blows yours. So until next time, I'm your host, Kevin Oldham. 2 asks. 1, if you like this episode, share it with somebody else. 2, if you like it, I'd really appreciate a review. And that's it. Until next time, I hope that you have a phenomenal weekend. Be well.